Generic quality review process. Each site may use a designated quality review volunteer as well as the peer-to-peer quality review process. Once the return has finished, it will be placed in a designated area for the initial quality review. The initial quality review will be accomplished by comparing the original documents submitted with the return. When the return passes this test, the final quality review will take place. A PDF of the entire tax return will be generated. In cases of returning clients, the final quality review volunteer will create a PDF of the previous year's return to compare before contacting the client. The client will be contacted using Google Voice. You will identify yourselves and give the taxpayer the code word. For 2021 tax year, the code word for us is sailboat. You will then tell them you need to identify who you are talking to. Ask them to locate the code word on their mailing sheet and give that to you. That code word is going to be candy. In the event they do not have or know the code word, use an alternate method to identify who you are talking with. Some methods might be, what is your birth date, or the spouse's or your oldest child's birthday? Who is your employer, or the spouse's employer? Who do you receive your pension from? What are the last 4 digits of your Social Security number? You will now continue with the quality review by verifying the information on the tax return. Be sure to go through the return for each line that has an entry. Use the same process you would if the taxpayer was sitting in front of you. Here are a few suggestions. I have you, your spouse, and X number of children on this return. Oh, I see you had 2 W-2s and those totaled about XXX. Or whatever other type of income they show. Ask them, did you have any other income we don't have listed here? How about the stimulus checks? Did you receive your economic impact payment of $1,400 per person? I show your homestead credit amount for this year is X. Sometimes they'll say, why is it so low? Or boy, that's kind of high, which will give you another tip to check the return further. If the taxpayer owes money, advise them of the options for payments. See Pub 4012 beginning at page K20. If the taxpayers cannot pay the entire amount by the due date, which this year is April 18th, 2022, encourage them to pay as much as they can by the due date in order to lower the amount of interest they may be charged. They should also be informed that it is in their best interest to file their return timely. If they do not, they may also be charged a penalty. Filing an extension does not extend the due date for payment of any balance owing. At CAP Services, we encourage saving part of their refund for emergency purposes. If the taxpayer has a federal refund, discuss splitting their refund to deposit some in a savings vehicle. If they prefer having a check mailed, inform them this method will take 4 to 6 weeks to receive their refund from the date of e-filing. Direct deposit takes less than 3 weeks. If they are doing direct deposit, verify that information. They can also include a deposit to their prepaid card. They would need to provide us with the routing number and the account number of that as well. If they are participating in the customer portal process, they will receive a mailing with any original documents. All copies will be shredded. They will receive a customer satisfaction survey and a demographic survey. They will need to log in to their TaxSlayer account in order to generate the final PDF and e-sign the Form 8879. We will not file any return unless we have that signed form in hand. If they are relying on paper documents, tell them there will be a postage paid envelope in with their return, along with some paperwork that needs their signature, and return it to us. The Form 8879 will be one document for their signature. Advise the taxpayer by signing this form, they are stating they have looked over the return and that it reflects correct information. It also gives us permission to e-file their return. Again, no return will be e-filed until we receive the signed Form 8879. We can generally offer two methods of delivery of the final tax return and all original documents. One method is that we can mail the documents to them using the United States Postal Service, or we can schedule a pickup of their return at the site coordinator's discretion. When they arrive, they will need to have photo ID ready before being allowed to pick it up. Steps for finishing the quality review process. You will address a large envelope to the taxpayers and insert all their original documents. If they are filing head of household, you will include a copy of CAP Services Resource Referral Form. You will then print the return back to back with as few unnecessary pages as possible. In the envelope, you will put one Form 8879, one Customer Satisfaction Survey, one demographic survey, and the printed copy of their federal and state and homestead or any of the above. If they are participating in the customer portal, there will be no need to print the return or the Form 8879. The customer can generate a PDF of those, and they can even e-sign the Form 8879 before getting it back to us. For returns with a homestead credit, you will assemble any homestead requirements and scan in this order. Number one on the page will be the WRA, followed by all income statements, whether it be a W-2, a 1099, information listed for the SSI payments or child support, any type of income documentation. Next, it would be the 1098-Ts. That would be followed by the property tax bills and or rent certificates. And these are listed as plural. People can have more than one property tax bill during a year. They can have more than one rent certificate during the year. They can also have a combination of both. If they are disabled, we need a copy of the disability statement. And if there are any additional notes, we need that printed and scanned as well. Staple together the following forms and tuck them in a postage paid envelope. Instructions for signing the return, the demographic form, the client satisfaction, the Form 8879, and make sure you highlight the area for signatures. Be sure to initial the Form 13614C. Place unsealed in designated area for mailing or for pickup. Your site coordinator will prepare an example for you to see what materials we need in this final step.